Xie. He's the assistant professor of marketing from University of South Carolina, Aiken. Dr. Xie, please.
Thank you, President Lee, for the introduction. Thank you. I wanted to make a quick note about my Chinese friends here.我本来这个是准备是用中文讲的，因为他想要介绍这个帮助中国公司进入美国市场，然后准备用中文讲。但是我现在手上有很多新闻在那，我要以英文讲。如果你没听不明白的话，听不清楚的话呢，可以事后跟我说一下，然后可以很高兴的给大家服务，就是说跟大家讲一讲。It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for everyone for being here, and I'm glad to talk about some marketing issues that will help Chinese business doing venturing or investing in the United States. I teach marketing at the USC Aiken, and I think as the Deputy Consul General just said, in order to invest in the United States or come to the United States, you have to know this market, right? And I'm sure you have already made a good decision in coming here, because this is indeed the one largest, single largest best market in the world, and the most prosperous one. But in order to be successful in this country, you need to do a lot of things, in marketing-wise, just to make sure that you will achieve your success you always wanted. So how do you market your product or service in the United States, in America? Right? This is my topic. For one, you really have to understand the market first. Know who are the consumers. I'm talking about consumer market and business market. Who are they? What are they buying? What kind of preferences do they have? What's their buying habit? What's their purchasing power? What kind of channels do you need to use? What kind of marketing strategies do you have to have? So one thing first thing you need to do to understand the U.S. market is to do marketing research, right? I teach a class called Marketing Research at USC. That class focuses just on how to understand and research the market to understand your consumers. I'll give you one example here. Well, we have ladies and gentlemen here, right? You go to a department store, you see those men's underwear for sale, right? Who are the customers who would buy those men's underwear? What would you say?
Wives.
Right? Wow. We can't have lawyers here. If you have lawyers, we're in trouble. Yeah. Even though the underwears are geared towards men, right? We are the ones who actually use them, right? We wear them. It's actually the wives, the women, who are the ones who buy them, to purchase them. They could be the girlfriend buying for boyfriend, or wife buying for husband. So you have to have this insight in order to market your underwear better. Right? You know who is the one who is going to open the wallet to purchase your product. Right? I'll give you another example. How many of you use the Perk Plus shampoo? Have you heard of Perk Plus shampoo? What kind of shampoo do you use? You use Perk Plus, anyone? That's a great example of a good product coming out of marketing research. Why? Because the maker of Perk Plus shampoo, the Procter & Gamble, the company based in Cincinnati, Ohio, they were trying to come up with a new brand of shampoo. But they want to know, what do people really want, especially women, professional women. What's the #1 concern in selecting a shampoo, for their personal use or for the use by the families? So they did the market research. And they found that actually the #1 complaint by those ladies, professional working women, is they don't have much time in the morning. They only get 2 minutes. They have to take care of the kid, the husband, everybody, and then go to work. So they want to have a couple minutes in the shower. They don't want to apply shampoo first and then apply conditioning second. It takes them too much time. So they want to have both together. But we know the shampoo is water-based. The shampooing, for those of you who have chemistry background, shampoo is water-based, so you can use shampoo to clean out the grease, dirty, filthy stuff in your hair, right? But the conditioning is oil-based. You apply the conditionings to make your hair look shiny, nice, You can easily mold it into whatever shape you want, you know. Now, I'm not talking about my hair. I don't have much hair. So you really need conditioning that's oil-based to build your hair into the shape you like. But we also know water and oil do not mix. Right? So you really can have shampoo and conditioner in one. Now, that's the market research they found, and that's the challenge in developing the new product. But thank goodness they have good chemists in their labs. The chemists were able to come up with a new big molecule. On one side is oil-based, on the other side is water-based. They come up with this new molecule and make shampoo called Per Plus. That most of us, some of us have been using that, right? And that solved the problem. You can have shampooing and conditioning in one shot. You know, that was huge success in the U.S. market. Another, we move on to another one. In order to go to U.S. market, I'm sure a lot of you have your own business. You probably have been doing something like to promote your product, right? To sell your product, sell your product to some potential customers. You know, in other words, you have to do some professional selling, right? When you sell your when you try to sell your product to your customers, what's the number one obstacle you encounter? You probably find that some of your potential business buyers or potential customers, they don't even want to see you. You know, who are you? Yeah. The guy, you know, Chinese look, you know, you don't even speak good English. You know, you don't understand us. You know, you're trying to sell something we never heard about. You know, they don't even want to see you, right? Have you seen come across those kind of situations? If you do, you're not alone, because lots of business will have problems to even approach your potential customers, let alone making your first sales. Right? This is true for Chinese business, Chinese company doing business in America. It's actually also true for American companies. Yeah, so to believe that, you know, in this country, there's really no foreigners. You know, we're here. It just happened that we're first generations. We're just as American as everybody else. Right? But the challenge to sell your product is the same, no matter you're new or you have been to this country for many years. So how do you make the approach to your potential customer or potential buyers? And you need to use the marketing selling skills. You know, we have a class called professional selling, where we just teach my students the techniques in selling successfully to American businesses. One of the first challenges to the initial approach is even to set an appointment. When you try to call to make an appointment, what would they say? Nah, not interested. We're too busy. We don't have time for you. You're nobody. You know, bye-bye, right? So even professional, veteran salespeople in this country will have to face a challenge like that. How do you deal with it? Let me give you another example. There was one salesperson, a lady in the western coast of the United States, in California. She has been trying hard to sell her product to a company in New York City. She called again and again to this client in New York City, saying, I want to meet with you. I want to present you with my great products. I'm sure you can love it. You know, she called her again. She's a Caucasian woman, you know, so white American, pure 100% American. You know. And she never got a result back. The guy in New York City never even replied. You know, doesn't want to meet her. And then one day she came up with the idea. You know, she went to the shoe stores, you know, lady shoe stores. And you've seen those people, lady shoe stores in the mall and anywhere. You see all the shoes on display in the window, right? There are single ones. They're either left shoes or right shoes, right? You know, where's the other one of the pair? The other one is probably laying in a warehouse in the back. So they want to present as many shoes as they can in the shoe store, right? So they have, over the years, all the shoe stores, ladies' shoe stores, will have a whole bunch of single shoes in the back of the warehouse or in the back of the room, so unsold, and they can't find the other one. They're all for some reason, right? So she went to the store and bought one for $1 for a high heel, nice, you know, red high heel shoes, and she wrapped it and put it in a box and mailed it to the guy in New York City. Now you can imagine the surprise the guy would, you know, see, you know, when someone sent him a gift, a nice box. He opened it. Inside it is the high heel ladies shoe. You know, one is one, you know, not even a pair. So what the heck is this? And then he found that there's a note next to the shoe. He picked up the note that says, you know, now one of my feet is in your office. Can we sit down and talk? So I'm giving the idea, give you this example to show that how difficult it is just to approach, to start to make appointment with American businesses. But don't be discouraged. You can do it with good guidance, good principle, good strategy. You can do it. Another thing is to enter American market is pricing. You probably know about pricing, right? You could go to any supermarket, a department store, or in a Walmart, anywhere. You see a lot of things that market like price like $20, $29.99. What's the reason for that? If something's the price $29.99, is there a reason for that?
It doesn't start with a 3.
Doesn't start with 3?
Expensive.
So it's a psychological factor. It means give you a perception is lower than $30. Any other thoughts? Another opinion here? You're right, thank you, gentlemen. But it's actually one of the minor reasons. It's not a major reason. The major reason has something to do with the morality of people. Back probably 70, 100 years ago in this country, we were the shoplifting. Shoplifting by employees was a major problem. The cashiers, when they sell something to the, from store, they would sell something like that, sell this to the client. They give the product to the client, customer, and they take money, they will pocket it. The stealing, by the employee was a major thing. So somebody came up with the idea, instead of pricing this thing at exactly $30, we can price it at $29.99, it's almost $30, right? And then the clerk will have to open the cash register and to get change for the customer. That way they can, they want to prevent, stealing by the employees. Yeah, well, we didn't even talk too much about that. Are you a tax attorney or something? Accountant? The point here is, but now the way we price something like $199.99 or whatever with an odd even value has other shade meaning now. So you want to price your item. I don't know what you're selling here, right? What you're selling, you want to price your item in a way. Sometimes your price will convey the status of prestige, right? Something when you send a message that's cheap and affordable, right? So I'm just giving you an example to show this is very complicated to price your product right. Another thing is, now let's say you have an appointment with your customer, you approach them, they agree to see you, now in their office, you're going to give them a presentation, right? Yeah. How many of you have been in the selling situation, trying to sell your product to somebody? Anyone? You? Okay, very good. I think most of us will. Like all of us have a job, right? When you have a job interview, you're selling yourself, don't you think? Right? So the sales skills is needed even for you who are trying to get a job somewhere. And the ideal job we always wanted, right? So you need the selling skills. So when in a school of businesses, we want to teach a student the basic skills in selling. One of them is that if a customer says no to you, what would you do? Okay, I'll go home, right? That's not the way, right? So what do you do? Right. We teach you the systematic way to, you have to analyze their no. A no in that case is not really a no. I don't want to be politically incorrect here, right? The no, you have to analyze to understand why the customer says no to you. There's a reason behind the no. A lot of times it's misconception, miscommunication, misunderstanding, or outright wrong information there. So you really have to understand the no, then you have ways, we have 7 ways to deal with customer rejection, and then you'll be able to sell your product successfully. Okay. Last thing, do I have time? Can I help you? Yeah. Now, you want to open your business in the United States, right? You have your right product decision, you have right pricing decision, you have the right promotion decision, you find the best channel distribution, and you have the best promotional decision, like how to advertise, what kind of salesperson you use, your PR, publicity, your event marketing, sponsorship, you name it. You have all things together to promote your product. But above that all, you need to have a strategy. Okay? That's what I'm talking about, marketing strategy. Okay? Some of you who are business leaders, you have your own companies, you know how important that is. Unfortunately, the term strategy has been misused, overused. The other day I was talking, when I was before I became professor, I was in the industry for 8 years. One day, I was at a company, my fellow employees were talking about this strategy. I heard, what kind of strategy are you talking about? They were talking about the strategy of Atlanta Braves, fighting with somebody else. They're talking the ball game strategy. We be using strategies everywhere. But the real business strategy or marketing strategy, business strategy, is at the corporate level. You have to strategize correctly in order to position yourself well in order to fight in this market. U.S. market is big, it's deep, we have people with money to buy, but it's also very competitive, extremely competitive, you can see, right? So you have to have a superior strategy. Once I was consulting for a company called Hutchins Reeves, it's a music store in Atlanta. They have some niche here. They have the biggest collection of classical music sheets, ever, more than any other stores in the city. They're just good at this, but their sales is declining. That's more than probably 7, 8 years ago. I was a consultant for them and said, no, you need to go to e-business, e-commerce, because you're restricted by your local. They don't have don't have a very good location. I said you need to go with the e-portal, and they had an e-portal. They built up the e-commerce. Now they're selling more online than the physical stores. The guy is really happy now. You see, that's a strategic decision the business owner has to make, from the get-go at the highest level. I heard I was once traveling on I-85. Those who might not know, that's the interstate highway from here to Washington, D.C. to New York City, I-85. I think somewhere in South Carolina I saw a sign of Chinese company, business alongside the highway. I was really happy to see that, Chinese business. I forgot what kind, it's kind of like fabric, metal fabric or something, I'm glad to see that. The reason I'm so happy to see that is, this is not a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown anymore. We want to see, glad to see the Chinese business entering into industrial market, B2B market, is really mainstream good businesses, just like those Indian companies or Japanese companies. So I'm glad to see that. Then I was thinking, man, what's their strategy in the inter-US market? They're in a business that's kind of like in decline right now, right? I hope they have a good strategy to compete. Is it easy to have a good overall business strategy? Not so. Let me give you another example. You heard about Yang Rong, right? The Chinese guy named Yang Rong, right? I've been watching the news. He was trying to raise some money, I think $1 billion. He got a corporation from the state of Alabama to build an electric hybrid car facility in Alabama. I heard they already got the land, they got approved or something. And he was trying to raise money, 1 billion, I think. 1 billion or 10 billion, I forgot the exact number. So will he be able to raise that money? Possible, His plan was talk to like 10,000, 5,000 rich Chinese men, each contribute, 500,000 or whatever, get $1 billion or $10 billion, and the big plan. But is it that easy? Let's see he get money. I'm sure if he wants to, he can get money. But if you have money, that means you can actually go into the hybrid or electric car business. Not so easy, right? It's not this easy, right? Think about the technology you purchase now versus the one that's developed by GM or Toyota or the other car makers. And think about what about the channel distribution? How do you build your dealership network? How about your services? Product services. The whole bunch of other things. Have they have a good idea about setting up a right strategy to do this? I was wondering, but I've never seen any follow-up on this. Back before, now we know automobiles are being used to drive people from one point to another. Back in this country, many years ago, before Henry Ford's Model T, there were horse wagons, right? There was one famous horse wagon company in the United States, very famous, best known, best brand in the country. When the new vehicle, automobile, came into being, at that point, the top business managers had to make a decision. They have money, they have cash. They sold a lot of horse wagons, horse carriers, right? They have money, they have cash. They are the GM of today, or maybe GM, Chrysler, and Ford all together. Right? Now, their strategic decision at that point is, where do we go? Do we invest in cars, automobiles? At that time, automobile is considered a monster. It's noisy, it's shaky. You could run into rivers, or you can, you can fall off, you can stop. It's not a good car as we have today, right? But Volkswagen is the one mode of transportation at the time. It's pretty. It's looks nice. You ride smoothly, very safe. Beautifully can show off your Volkswagen to your neighbors. They were really thinking. I know it's hard, easy for us to think about this now, but think it back 100 years ago. Their decision was, final decision on their strategy was, we're going to build better, even better Volkswagens to compete with the cars. Now we know what's coming out. Right? That's all I want to talk today. Thank you very much for your attention.